back to yet another video. I hope you are all having an amazing day whenever you are watching this. It snowed outside today, so I thought it was appropriate to put on my Christmas sweater. So I hope you guys have your sweaters on. Have yourself a nice cup of tea. We got some black tea with agave nectar here. And today I'm going to be answering your guys' questions that you left on the community thread. I posted something a couple days ago asking you guys for your questions, whether it's just about me, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, whatever it may be, and we're gonna go through them together today. So let's get into the questions. Ooh, what is your star sign and favorite gemstone associated with it? So I am a Leo, and probably one of my favorite gemstones, there's so many that I love so much, but onyx, labradorite, and peridot are really amazing stones, and if you guys don't know what they look like, I will post a picture here. And also I just did get a labradorite sphere the other day. I don't know if you guys can see that. This really doesn't do it justice, but it's so cool and I love it so much. I have so many stones everywhere. It's insane. If you saw my surroundings, it's crazy, but those are some of my favorites. Can you use lucid dreaming to change personality? And what is the best way to get the saliva down without worrying about it? Also, can you hear sounds when you are about to enter the hypnotic state? So to answer the first part of your question, changing your personality, yes you can. And personality is not something that defines us, and it's not something that we're stuck with. If you study Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, he talks about your personality creates your personal reality. And your personality is basically all of the emotional compounds based off your experiences, your memories, that makes you who you are. That makes you program a specific act a certain way because of how you're programmed, if that makes sense. So by changing parts of your personality, it could just be implementing new habits, it could be implementing new belief systems or things that actually benefit you and who you're trying to be. You can absolutely do those things within lucid dreaming. So it's a great way to reprogram your brain to start to become the person that you want to be and live the life that you want to live. As far as your second question, the biggest thing when it comes to saliva in induction techniques, whether it's for lucid dreaming, an out-of-body experience, or just sleep paralysis in general, is to not think about it, is to not focus on it. And I know that can be really difficult, but the more that you think about it, the more uncomfortable it's going to become. So what I'd recommend is not having a pillow or anything, because it kind of props your head a specific way, and the saliva could like pool in your mouth in a weird way. You could start drooling because like you have saliva like building up because your head's a certain way and you can't move obviously in the technique, so you'll literally sometimes maybe start to feel yourself drool depending on how you're laying. So how I prevent that is having no pillow. I'm laying completely flat. I'm not thinking about it. I'm focusing on some sort of visualization or something I actually want to create when I'm getting into the vibrational stage. And then if you like really can't stand it and it's like really annoying, what you can do, if you're on your back, you can turn on your side. And I found that that is an easy way to completely relax and to kind of get the saliva issue out of the way. It kind of like pools on the side of your mouth. And this might sound like weird or gross to some people, but if you have tried to induce sleep paralysis or an out-of-body experience or anything like that, you have probably ran into this issue, and it can mess up the experience if you focus on it too much. So try finding a position that is comfortable, like laying on your side or laying without a pillow, and just try to concentrate on something else, and you'll notice that urge will actually pass and it won't bother you anymore. But again, this is going to take practice because it's like will of the mind, you know, what can we shift our focus to and how long can we maintain that? And once you start to do that, it will get easier and easier with each experience. And as far as hearing sounds in the hypnagogic and hypnopompic state of consciousness, you absolutely can at times, because your body is half asleep in these states, and so you can start to feel physical sensations or hear things in your environment because you're basically half dreaming in these states. So that's why we experience like hallucinations and hear things when we're in sleep paralysis. It's because our body's asleep but our mind is awake, and it's almost the same in those states of sleep, depending on if you're doing it, you know, before you go to bed or before you wake up or as you're waking up. But you can feel sensations or hear things, but it's nothing to be scared of. It's just because you're half dreaming. Part of your brain is still in the dream state or going into the dream state, and so you experience some of those things in your waking environment. How do I reprogram my subconscious mind in the lucid dream? Well, you can call it to the sky, which represents your subconscious mind, which is one of my favorite ways. You can act out whatever you're wanting to practice. Say you want to reprogram your brain to be better at a specific sport or a specific task like public speaking or something. You can actually manifest a scenario where you get to practice that. Say if you wanted to practice public speaking, you can actually manifest a stage and get on stage and manifest like 1 million people and practice speaking, and you're actually reprogramming your brain by doing that, and you'll actually feel like you did it 100 times after practicing this in the lucid dream. So it's going to be easier to do it when you're awake, and you won't have a lot of the fear associated with it since you practiced and your brain thought it was actually happening. That's how it works within the lucid dream state. You can also use affirmations. Like, it really depends on what you're trying to reprogram your brain to do, and if it's regarding like addiction or something, because you can do all of these things in the lucid dream, but it's going to be slightly different on how you do it with each thing. But the biggest thing is to keep in mind you can talk to your subconscious out loud. Whatever you're wanting to overcome, practice that in the lucid dream and start to feed yourself positive affirmations about the result you want to get, and that can also reprogram your brain as well. As far as manifesting within the lucid dream, we got to keep in mind that our brain cannot tell the difference between something we're imagining, something that's happening in the dream, or something that's actually happening in waking life. So for example, if you wanted to manifest $5,000 within your business, all you would do is go into the lucid dream, play out a scenario where you actually do get paid $5,000 from your business. Your brain is going to physically see you experiencing this and think that it's real. And so it's going to start to reprogram your brain to be like, oh wow, I can make this type of money. I literally see it right before my eyes. Like, your brain is literally going to be able to interact with that $5,000. It's not just imagining it. You're actually able to like hold the money and count the money and smell the money and fully interact with it. So that's going to help you manifest it in waking life by getting rid of specific blockages and also increasing your visualization tenfold of what you desire and what you want to create. So that is kind of how to do it, but again, it comes down to a lot of creativity and just imagination and playing with it. What is your most successful lucid dreaming induction technique? Well, it's going to be different for each person, but me personally, I like to combine techniques. So I basically combine wake back to bed, mild, and wild together. So that's what I recommend for you, is to take what techniques work and kind of try to combine them together to see if you can create a specific technique that works for you. So for example, I lucid dream spontaneously most of the time, but if I want to induce a lucid dream, I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to wake up in the early hours of the morning or after a full sleep cycle. I'm going to stay up for about 30 to 60 minutes. I'm going to lay on my back. I'm going to basically induce sleep paralysis by laying on my back, not moving, completely relaxing, and let myself fall in and out of sleep. Then, once I hit the vibrational stage, I can induce a lucid dream from there, or I will literally just wake up in a dream and get lucid, depending on what I do before I go into the meditation or the technique. For example, I'll play out the scenario in which I want to experience becoming lucid. Like, where do I want to go in the lucid dream? Where am I going to realize that I'm dreaming? What's going to happen in that scenario? And you play through it in your mind as you're putting yourself into that sleep and inducing that technique, and then you can either wake up in a lucid dream or you can get to the vibrational state and induce it from there. But like I said, I combine techniques together, and that's what I'd recommend doing as well. Just take the ones that really work for you and see if you can combine them together in some way to create your own specific technique that works for you. Some people say that we should remove the chakras. What do you think about this? I personally don't really think that we can remove the chakras. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that we would be able to, because they're literally like energy centers, energy portals within the body, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just kind of takes different shape. So, and our consciousness is literally energy. That's how you're watching this video, and this is how I'm communicating and actually observing what's happening because of my energy. So personally, I don't think we can really remove the energy centers. And I've seen videos on it, but to me, and like what I've studied, I just personally don't see how that would really work, but that's my opinion on it. What technique would you recommend to a beginner lucid dreamer? So there are so many techniques that you could use and so many techniques that you could play with and try, but some of the easiest techniques are wake back to bed, mild. I would actually combine those two. So you're coming back to combining techniques because that's really, really, really what works for me. Not just going by the book of someone's technique that you see in a video or something, really taking it and formulate it to your sleep schedule and what works best for you. But usually for beginners, wake back to bed and mild. So I would either set an alarm for early hours of the morning or try this after you get up. For some reason, I have more success after a full night's rest than actually waking myself up after like 4 hours to do a technique. It worked when I first started learning, but over time that didn't really start to work, so I had to implement other things like more reality checks so I could spontaneously get lucid or try techniques at different times. But really, I would just play with different techniques. Again, wake back to bed, mild. Filed really worked. It actually worked for me the first time I tried it. I do have videos on a lot of these on my channel, but if you are not sure what techniques these are, you can just type that into YouTube, or I'll have to make a new technique video for lucid dreaming, like my top 10 favorite techniques or something, because there are so many techniques that we could go over, and I definitely want to talk about those more on the channel. So stay tuned for that, but definitely try wake back to bed, mild, and filed. How to avoid brain reading by psychic. There's different ways to read people. For example, you could read someone's thoughts, or you could read someone's energy and emotional state. And some people are just naturally able to pick up on someone's energy and emotional state and really see how the other person is feeling. So if that's something that kind of makes you uncomfortable, probably just try not to be around those people, because some people will just naturally be able to pick that kind of information up. But you can also do some sort of like protection meditation as well, or put some sort of energetic shield around you when you have to encounter those people. What's a technique that I can use for astral projection or an out-of-body experience? So I do have a live video on this. I think I go through like 4 or 5 different out-of-body experience induction techniques. I would definitely recommend checking out that video. But one of my favorite ways to induce an out-of-body experience is using the rollout method or the target technique. Most importantly, you'll want to make sure that you can actually induce the vibrational state and stay conscious as your body falls into sleep. And even if you do fall asleep, if you can train yourself to wake back up and hover on the state of awakened sleep, that is the golden ticket. That is the state that you are looking for, because that's when the body naturally gets put into sleep paralysis, the vibrational state, if we're in REM, which definitely learn about your sleep cycle if you haven't studied that too much through your dream journal or anything. And you can induce an out-of-body experience that way, directly through the vibrations. So I actually have a full playlist on this channel called Sleep Paralysis. That is the vibrational state. I would definitely recommend checking that out if you want information on how to actually induce the vibrational state. And then I do have that live video as well, going over those different out-of-body experience techniques that I think would be helpful. But again, my favorite ones currently are the rollout method and the target technique. If we are overstrained and go to sleep, does it affect dream recall and becoming lucid? And can we blindly believe whatever answers we get from our subconscious when questioned? Thanks in advance. So yes, if you are feeling energetically drained and you go to sleep, there's 2 different things that can happen. This can actually increase dream recall for some, or it can deplete your dream recall. Dreaming takes energy. This is why if we eat a heavy meal right before bed, we're most likely not going to have great dream recall that night, because all of our energy went to digesting that meal that we ate right before bed. So it's the same way with like actually the energy that you have to go throughout the day. If we feel so drained, if we are so tired, maybe we had a really long day at work, your body's most likely going to concentrate on getting deep sleep that night to repair the body. But it really all depends on your energy level and what you're focusing on as well right before bed. So if you really were drained, but you still did your nighttime ritual for your dreaming intention and you read through your dream journal, you would still probably have some dreams, just because intention is so strong in this practice. But yes, how we feel when we go to sleep and what we do right before we go to bed does affect our dreams, our dream recall, and our ability to get lucid. And I get this question a lot. Sometimes people will talk to their subconscious, sometimes it's a really profound answer, and sometimes it is complete gibberish. But we have to keep in mind, yes, we are connecting to our subconscious mind, but in our subconscious mind is where all of our thoughts, where all of our memories are, where all of our emotions are stored. So there's going to be random things that we've seen or interacted with in our life that do show up in our dreams. That's why sometimes we'll dream of our childhood home, or maybe the elementary school we used to go to that we haven't even thought about for like years. All of that stuff doesn't go anywhere. It's all stored inside our subconscious mind, and it gets processed and played out in the dream. So sometimes you're going to get really profound, clear answers from your subconscious, and other times there's going to be random stuff thrown in there because, again, it is your brain processing the information it was given throughout your experiences in waking life. But that also makes it a little bit fun. That way you can never just totally expect, you know, something to happen. You're always on your toes a little bit within the lucid dream because you never know what information you're going to get, so it can kind of make it fun. It also helps you value the lucid dreams in which you really do get profound information and have a really easy time connecting to your subconscious mind. Hello, it's been my 4th lucid dream in 3 weeks already. I use the wild mixed in wake back to bed, 6 hours of sleep, wake up and go back to bed to do wild. I know it's wild because I slipped from sleep paralysis to a very light vibrational state sensation, often described in an out-of-body experience. And then I have hypnagogic imagery and then suddenly find myself sort of slipping from my body into the darkness before I go wherever I decide to. My question is, if I try wild during an afternoon nap, that applies no 6-hour sleep then, will I have to wait around 90 minutes until I get into REM? Thanks. I love this question, and it's so interesting as well because I always recommend naps to people. What a great thing to try, right? Naps are so helpful for inducing lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences and the vibrational state in general. So I don't even know if it's just going into REM sleep immediately, but it's almost like a fully conscious mind, and then going straight into sleep induces a REM-like state, because even taking a nap for like 90 minutes or even less than 90 minutes actually, you will start to feel things like sensations of sleep paralysis, or like the beginning phases. I'll get tingly, I'll start to hear things, I'll go into like this really dreamy hypnotic state, but I'm not asleep and I'm not, you know, in full sleep paralysis. You get into this really amazing half awake, half asleep state where you can really tune into hypnagogic imagery and induce the vibrations. So I would definitely recommend trying naps, because I always tell people, I'm not even kidding, I always tell people, have you tried taking a nap? Especially if it's hard for you to induce sleep paralysis, have you tried taking a nap? Because having that conscious awareness, having that full conscious awareness and taking that into the sleep state, you're going to have a lot more focus. It's going to be a lot easier to concentrate on getting out of your body. And you're most likely not going to keep falling in and out of sleep because you've had a full night's rest. So literally, naps are amazing for inducing sleep paralysis and all of that amazing stuff. So definitely try that. Do you use Buddhism in your everyday life? So I do practice Buddhism, and there are a lot of principles within Buddhism that I do practice every single day. I do practice a lot of things, like I pull information from everywhere. But I definitely love Buddhism. It is a beautiful philosophy, and it is a huge part of my life. Just like many other things, I kind of create my own little lifestyle based off all of these teachings that I get from different places, and I just create my own thing out of it. But yes, I do practice Buddhism every day. It's more of a way of thinking and a way of living and a philosophy, which I love, which is what I love about it. And it's not a religion, you know. I can just It's just a really open, beautiful philosophy, and if you haven't looked into Buddhism, I would definitely recommend checking it out. How can I be an animal? If you are referring to becoming an animal within a lucid dream, it's actually very easy. Just visualize becoming that animal, or tell yourself, okay, as soon as I walk through this door, or as soon as I turn this corner, I'm going to be this animal. But you have to fully believe it. You have to fully intend and expect to become that animal. That's how we create the next part of our dream, is by using our intention and our visualization and expecting something to be there, and it works. But if you're talking about how you can become an animal in waking life, that's a little bit more tricky. I will sit on that and think about that for you. Can we have a lucid dream every night? It's pretty hard to become lucid every single night. I hear it's impossible, at least 3 days per week or after 2 weeks. You can actually train yourself to become lucid every single night, and it's because you're training yourself to become more aware. The reason why people don't lucid dream every single night and they're just kind of on autopilot in their dreams is because they're on autopilot for a majority of their day in waking life. we aren't always conscious of where we are and conscious of everything that we're doing. You know, we're doing multiple things at once. We can get lost in the motions through our day-to-day life. And so that's what happens in the lucid dream. We just kind of go through the motions and we never check in with ourselves and ask, wait, could this be a dream? So to create more lucid dreams in your practice, you have to become more aware, because if you're really aware of your environment and you become really critical of your day, and if something's off in your day, you start to ask yourself, could this be a dream? You know, once you start to create that awareness in your environment, you're going to realize when you are in a dream, because you're so used to checking in with yourself and checking in with your environment. So you're going to start naturally checking in with your environment when you're dreaming, causing you to realize that you're dreaming. I've had months where I've lucid dreamed almost every single day. There are weeks where I've lucid dreamed every single day. So it can happen, but it's all down to you and the consistency of your practice and the consistency of your awareness. So keep that in mind, but it is not impossible to lucid dream every night. I finally became lucid again through using your techniques, but when I used my command, I woke up when I didn't want to. Once I became lucid, I closed my eyes and state my command and what I want to happen. When I opened my eyes to see my command manifested, I just woke up. There's two things that I could think of. Do you think it was that one, I either got too excited, or two, should have used a more efficient technique? What technique do you use? It seems right to close my eyes, because if I left them open, it just feels like it would not work. So I would definitely recommend trying to keep your eyes open, because if you close your eyes within the lucid dream and you open them, you could be somewhere else. You could wake up in the vibrations, which is good in a lot of occasions, or you can just wake up in general and the experience could just end. Closing your eyes really is just giving the chance to the dream to decide what happens. So what I'd recommend doing is just keeping your eyes open, and if it's something you're trying to manifest in the dream, I know it can be hard to think it's gonna work because I'm just have my eyes open. How could something just appear right in front of me? But you can kind of play with that. Tell yourself that what you want is going to be right behind you when you turn around. Or again, if there's a house or something and you want something to be in there, then create that with your mind. Oh, I remember, as soon as I walk in this house, that thing is right there, that person is right there. Like, you kind of will something to show up in the dream by giving it opportunities to show up. Oh, right when I turn around, or this person's gonna bring it to me. You know, you create the dream as you go along with it. So try keeping your eyes open, but again, if it's hard to manifest something when you're just like looking right in front of you where you want it to be manifested, try manifesting it behind you or behind a door, or tell someone to take you to it. Like, the dream will start to play along with you as soon as you start to create it with your mind and expectations. Alright guys, I hope you liked this video. I had a ton of fun answering your questions. We will definitely be doing more of these in the future. I love you all so much and I appreciate you for tuning in. If you want to lucid dream or induce out-of-body experiences in 30 days or less, make sure to check out my online courses and my one-on-one mentorships. The link is in the description below. Make sure to check out the merch, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already and you like the content I create, and I will see you guys next time. And as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity.